Um, so I watched a second movie today. One that I have been meaning to watch for years and years and years, because it has Sylvia Sidney in it, and I love Sylvia Sidney so much. She's not in it for very much. I didn't know that. It's one of those like 10-minute long Academy Award nominated performances where she just kills it for 10 minutes and then literally dies, and so you never see her again. I'm sorry, so I've just spoiled this whole movie. But it's actually a plot point, big plot point, so whatever. It's the reason the rest of the movie happens. This movie being Summer Wishes, Winter Dreams, which is directed by Gilbert Cates. He also did I Never Sang for My Father, which is a great film with Melvin Douglas and I can't remember who the son is in that, but it's a good one. Anyways, I think what's his name? Gene Hackman, I think, is the son in that one. Okay, so Summer Wishes, Winter Dreams is Joanne Woodward. She's the main character, and Sylvia Sidney plays her mother. And Martin Balsam is her husband, and then she has children and in-laws and etc. And early on in the film, her mother dies, causing her to go into a tailspin, even though she's already kind of having, like, you're first introduced to her and she's having, like, nightmares and clear, like, midlife crisis angst. Then her mom dies, and suddenly it's like, oh shit, and she has to deal with a family farm and the fact that she has driven her son away because he's gay, which this is 1973, so that's like huge. He has to move to like Amsterdam to deal with this. She's got to figure out like why she's still married to her husband. Does she even love her husband? Did she ever love her husband? Her husband's like, did you ever love me? And so it's one of those movies with lots of talking and fighting and personal confessions and I'm sure it seems more like the kind of film that would originally be a play and then get adapted, but I think it was actually an original screenplay. Let's see. It doesn't say that it was based on a play, so this is a very like play-like film, but beautifully done. And it there's a scene towards the end with Martin Balsam where he's talking about his experiences during World War II that is really gut wrenching, and you don't even need to like see reenactments of it. Just seeing him talk about the experience is enough to make you go like, oh shit, war is horrible, which obviously, and that would resonate, I think, really well in 1973 since we're like in the height of Vietnam or post-Vietnam or echoes of Vietnam. What else was I going to say? Joanne Woodward, obviously, always amazing. She's one of those like amazingly fearless actresses where you look at all of her roles and you're like, you never did anything that wasn't like forward thinking, which is just fabulous. And then Sylvia Sidney just is amazing. Apparently, she hadn't been in a film in 17 years, and then she makes this film, and it's like the whole latter half of her career because there's a whole generation of people that only really knew her as like the role she played in Tim Burton movies, namely like Beetlejuice and Mars Attacks. She's also really great in this film called Used People that I really love. And then I started watching her older films. I'd seen Mars Attacks and Beetlejuice, and then I saw her older films, and then I saw Used People. But she's always so amazing. She has one of the best screen presences, I think, ever, and she's just someone I truly love as an actress. She's also a favorite of the author James Baldwin. He really liked her. So you should watch all the movies with Sylvia Sidney because she's a badass. But also, this was a good film. It very much, there's several films from this era that have this sort of feeling. It kind of reminded me of aspects of The Subject Was Roses with Jack Albertson and Patricia Neal. I think if you've seen that one, this has a very similar sort of tone to it. Also, obviously, Gilbert Cates' I Never Sang for My Father, which I just mentioned. They all have that sort of adult angst, sort of family relationship feel to them. I just watched this on TCM. I think it's on Watch TCM as well. I'm not sure. But it's very good, and you should check it out. It's from 1973. Summer Wishes, Winter Dreams.